Who are you going to call for a classic scare comedy with a cast consisting of Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, and Ernie Hudson? Hey everyone, this is Rob here, and it's time to close out R&B Review's April Fool's Comedy Month, where we were reviewing comedies throughout April. This year we reviewed Mystery Science Theater 3000, the movie, Wayne's World, and last week we did Club Paradise with Robin Williams, and today I'm going to be reviewing the classic 80s comedy Ghostbusters and its 1989 sequel, Ghostbusters II. Yeah, I got the DVDs right here for these guys, Ghostbusters 2. If you have not seen Ghostbusters, Murray and Aykroyd and Ramis star as a staff of the university's parapsychology department, and when they are let go, they decide that they're going to open a business that catches ghosts. And Sigourney Weaver plays Dana, who is Murray's, love interest, who hires the Ghostbusters when she finds that her refrigerator literally leads to the gates of hell. And Ernie Hudson plays an employee of the Ghostbusters, and Rick Moranis plays a nerdy neighbor who is obsessed with Dana. Ghostbusters was a movie that kind of scared me when I was a kid, like when the dog statues came to life. I mean, of course the technology for that looks kind of out of date, but I think people can look back on it, like myself, with a sense of nostalgia. The movie for me, it kind of starts off mildly funny, but I think it definitely got better when the Ghostbusters are investigating the library. And I think some of the best scenes are where Bill Murray is investigating Sigourney Weaver's apartment. But I think Rick Moranis, I thought, was the funniest of all the characters in the film, including when he's possessed and he's running around asking people and animals if they are the gatekeeper. Something I really thought funny that I think might go over people's heads now is that when Bill Murray is going through Sigourney Weaver's fridge, there are Coke cans that are visibly shown. At the time, Columbia Pictures was owned by Coca-Cola during the 80s, so we get some product placement in Weaver's refrigerator. What I wanted more from this film was I wish that I had gotten to know Hudson's character of Winston more as much as the others, because Murray, Aykroyd, and Ramis, I mean, they're already friends, and they sort of have a bond going, but Hudson, I thought, gets pushed into the background, except for when he and Aykroyd are talking about God in the movie. This was not my favorite Dan Aykroyd performance. I don't know if I'm being too picky, but sometimes he just doesn't sound like he means what he's saying in the movie. Like, for example, there's a scene where he's apologizing to Bill Murray, and at one point it just sounds like he didn't really meant it. But one interesting thing, Bill Murray's role was originally written for John Belushi. Can you imagine Belushi doing the famous dogs and cats speech near the end of the movie? And something to think about. Okay, well, like I said, I enjoyed Ghostbusters, but unfortunately I cannot say the same thing for Ghostbusters 2 that came out about 5 years later. This sequel was a disappointment to me. I mean, here, in this movie, the guys, they go off in different directions. There's some lawsuits involved, but they're brought back when Dana has new ghost-related problems, like when a painting in a museum is haunted by a ghost. My two problems I had with the film was, it seemed to start out, this movie seemed to have very little energy, and I felt like the actors just weren't putting enough into it. Although, ironically, I kind of thought Aykroyd was much better here than he was in the first film, but that's debatable. Plus, the sequel, to me, it just felt like a rehash of the first film. I mean, the art restorer in this film kind of reminded me of Lewis, or even though Rick Moranis' character Lewis is in this film, it's like the art restorer is like the same character all over again, somebody that's obsessed with Dana. And instead of the Marshmallow Man that we get at the end of the movie, we get the Statue of Liberty. Winston seems to get pushed more into the background and seems to have even less to do in this film. And Murray shows up to Weaver's work like he did in the first film. On top of that, this movie I just didn't think was really all that funny. I mean, I think I laughed maybe like 3 times during the Bill Murray scene when he's hosting a show on TV. But the plus side to Ghostbusters 2 was this. I thought that Lewis and Janine had some real cute scenes together. Janine is the, I guess you could call her the secretary to the Ghostbusters. She was in the first film. She was Harold Ramis' girlfriend, sort of, in the first film. But here I think the Lewis, played by Rick Moranis, and Janine hit it off very well in this movie. And Moranis, once again, I thought was the best part of the film. This film as well as the first one. But to me, none of the dialogue just was not as memorable as the first film either. There's no speech about if you, like the dogs and cats speech, or if you're asked if you're a god, say yes. There was just nothing memorable for me from the sequel at all. I think if Ghostbusters 3 really does get off the ground, there has been a rumor that Ghostbusters 3 is getting made, even though there kind of was a Ghostbusters 3 called Evolution with David Duchovny. If anybody remembers that film, that was like a knockoff of Ghostbusters. But if Ghostbusters 3 really does get off the ground, I really hope that it doesn't turn out like a rehash like Ghostbusters 2 was. So that's my take on Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2, and you guys know what to do. Leave your comments about if you've seen either of these films and what you thought. I do read everything you guys post, and even if you're new to R&B reviews, go ahead and post something anyway about the video or about either of these movies. I know Ghostbusters 2 has some defenders, and if you are one of them, tell me what you liked about it and what you thought. So thank you very much for watching R&B reviews, and thank you for tuning into April Fool's Comedy Month. And if you have not seen the other comedy reviews that Dave and I did this month, they're in the DVD reviews folder. So thank you very much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next time on R&B Reviews.